Okay, Natalia, I'm going to make you a drink before we get started.
Fab.
What would you like?
I'll have... Go and try make a coffee.
Really?
We'll mix it up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not the best coffee maker.
You got this. I've got faith in you.
Hi everyone, welcome to Recruit Tea. I'm your host Emily Firbank, and we're going to be spilling the tea on the good, the bad and the ugly of the recruitment industry. I'm going to be joined by an array of different people with various different backgrounds so we can get their point of view on what makes a real successful recruitment business. Come and join me for some tea. Is that really milky?
It's quite milky, but it was fine, it's fine. We'll let it cool down for a second.
Go on, have a sip. Let's see an initial reaction.
You know what? It's actually not that bad.
Okay, we'll get to the rating at the end, but
It's not that bad.
first off, obviously, thanks for joining me
No, it's okay.
on Recruit Tea. It's obviously part of Orbition.
Of course.
How long have you worked for Orbition now?
Oh gosh, where are we? August 2023. I started here 18. No. Oh my god, when did I start? January 2022?
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
over a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how did you first get into recruitment? Where did it all start?
It was like, I think we were having this conversation the other day. I didn't plan to go into recruitment. I went to uni. I did events management.
Oh my god, I nearly did event management at uni. Okay.
So that was kind of like the path for me. And then, it was more through friends. Like, I've got quite a number of peers that are in recruitment. And then, just one of my friends one day, I was like...
I think you'd be good at this.
Yeah, shall I get an interview set up for you? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. Because I had thought about it in the past, but just didn't go down
did you have like a preconceived idea of what recruitment was, like a stereotype of what recruitment was? Because I remember when I first interviewed for recruitment, I was still just like, I don't even know what recruitment is.
I suppose, to some extent. Like, I've seen I knew people that were in it. And to be honest, I think, and this is probably, I'm still in my 20s, so it's going to make me sound old, but like younger, it was like, oh yeah, there's like a lot of money involved, a lot of partying, like it was quite exciting.
The dream for a 20-year-old.
Exactly. And I think that's probably what I looked at it as, but then like, as the time has gone on, and especially whilst I'm going with Orbition, like, it's a lot more than that really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's not quite that. Sex, drugs and rock and roll.
It's not all the time, no.
So first role in recruitment, what were the first kind of few weeks like in recruitment? Can you remember kind of how you felt, what kind of training you went through, what were you having to learn and pick up? Yeah,
so I was somewhere else before here. I don't really remember it that well. It seems like a bit of a blur, but it was strange. To be honest, it was quite nerve-wracking. I hadn't been in an environment like that before.
That sales environment?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just I think it was a little bit daunting, and I was like, oh my gosh, you question it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when you get a bit nervous, you question, am I doing the right thing? Like, is this the right job for me? Or is it the environment that I'm in? Like loads of questions go through your head. But yeah, like, it was... I got some training. Can't get me right. Some training, but probably not as much as I've got here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really tell you that much about those few months in my first recruitment job. It was completely different to Orbition.
No.
So yeah.
So what kind of recruitment was it? Was it like contingent, perm?
It was a mixture. I was doing perm,
right?
And it was renewable energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I started in renewable
Did
energy.
you?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I started in like construction, renewable engine,
Oh, okay.
engineering, like power plants.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to visit a
No.
power plant?
No, I wasn't there long enough for that. I don't know if it would have been something. Why did you?
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't miss out on anything. Okay, so so how long were you there for? In your first recruitment role?
Only 3 months.
Okay, so you kind of dipped your toe into
Dipped
the
my toe.
recruitment world. And it sounds like you were drawn into it by like there's money, partying, that kind of thing. Okay. So then you've come to Orbition.
Yes.
So what's your role at Orbition? What's your job title? What does it mean? What do you actually do?
Yes, so I'm a talent partner at Orbition.
Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, it can mean something different.
Yeah, so
like-
what does it mean at Orbition to be a talent partner?
So for my role, it's mainly delivery. Like
Okay.
delivery is kind of my sole focus. I'm dipping my toe into the BD side of things,
Nice.
which can be exciting, but I know I'm very driven on the delivery side. But even aside from that, like, you know, filling the roles, we do obviously a lot on the community side, which we'll come into in a little bit later. But yeah, I also like engage with people in our community, like form relationships, get people into the community as well. So, you know, there's a mixture of things going on, but I'd say primarily it's delivery focused.
Yeah. So in your first role, in comparison to Orbition's role then, was your first role, was that a delivery focused role, or was it like a straight in there 360, build a desk, do BD, fill the role? What was the differences?
I'd say it was straight in there 360.
Okay.
But considering I was only there 2 or 3 months, probably I was only really doing delivery stuff at the same time. But I think that was kind of the aim of the game, really, 360.
Okay.
But I think, you know, some people, they thrive off both. You know, some are more kind of leaning towards one than the other. But yeah, delivery is probably where I get my hit.
Yeah,
suppose.
I'm the same, and it's funny, I remember even interviewing here and saying to Carl, like, I don't think I'm a very kind of BD person. But then when you actually think about it, an element of the candidate side is BD, because you have to, it's still kind of sales, bringing new candidates in, it's a sense of it. And I never really thought of it like that we all do have a little bit of BD within
A little
us.
bit BD.
We can
It's
do
there.
it. Yeah. So you've been with Orbition for a while now.
Yeah, it's felt like that, yeah.
Let's talk through some highs and lows of recruitment in general. It doesn't have to be Orbition, but I imagine, obviously, you've been here longer than you were in your last company, so...
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's been, and I'm sure a lot of people have been in the same boat, like recruitment is like a roller coaster. So there's been, in, I suppose, 18 months or so that I've been here, like there's been a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and they're probably going to be quite similar to other people. So I'd probably say my highs, I suppose within 6 to 7 months I got my first promotion.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, which was really good. So that was exciting. And then on top of that, I got to go away with some of the team to Barcelona straight after, which was amazing. You could call this a high, but I probably think it's a low at the same time. I got top vomiter award of 2022.
Oh, nice. So some cool rewards going out here.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one, but
oh my God.
Kyle likes to tell everyone the story of that whenever they join, so that's great.
Bless.
So yeah, there are a few highs.
Just before we go on to the lows, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
So you got your promotion. What did you have to do to get that promotion? Were you set targets, KPIs? Because a lot of recruitment companies can either be really heavily KPI driven, some not so much, and it might just be targets or it might be goals.
Yeah.
How does that work here for you?
Yes, so like from the beginning, we really tried to do things differently. We don't want to be massively, you know, focusing on the KPIs.
Yeah, hard numbers.
But like there is obviously always a target that you need to meet. So for me to get to talent partner, I had to make 100k in a row in 6 months.
Nice. Okay.
And you know what, like some of the stuff that we work on here, I don't want to say it can be easy because you know what, you think you're there and you're not.
You say it and then you'll have like the dip in the roller coaster.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not far off. Oh, there we go, there's a candidate gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, it is so achievable and doable. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it was 100k in a roll in 6 months to get to that. Yeah.
So if you think about that, 100k in 6 months after only having 3 months experience, so technically you had 9 months experience and you'd hit. That's really good. Well done.
No, really, yeah, really good. And the thing is, I think being here and considering when I started at Orbition, I was I worked this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th member to start here.
Okay.
So in that time, I got a lot of that one-to-one training.
Nice.
Which in some places, if you go to a bigger organisation, you're probably not going to get that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah, it's really on the floor training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I've benefited.
It's funny, isn't it? So when you do training and when you learn, are you a doer? You need to be doing it and learning on the spot rather than being told how to do something.
Yeah. If I'm going to go to a business, and don't get me wrong, there's a bit of it that we have to do here, and they put me on a training programme for a week that I have to sit through loads of questions, all this, I'm not going, I'm not getting any of it. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, I'm more of a doer. Okay.
So you mentioned trips away. Mm-hmm. How does someone get on a trip away at Orbition?
Yeah, so we have little competitions that we have to do. So it might be a case you'll have your annual target. You need to hit a percentage of that to get on. That's usually the way around it.
That's nice then. So it's based off your own annual target. So you're not given like a company-wide, well, there might be a company-wide, but you're not given like unrealistic. It's a case of, well, this is your target, let's do 50% of this, 10%, whatever it is, a percentage of that to be able to go away.
Pretty much. And we had it as well where, you know, there could be, and it kind of makes it a little bit more exciting having a bit of a point system as well. So it could be, you know, like this 10 points could be like a CV send or like something along those lines.
Yeah, especially if you're in delivery, that makes sense.
And that works on the BD side as well, like meetings that you're booking in. So that also adds kind of a level of, you know, like motivation, I suppose. Yeah,
so then it's not all just about money.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
You've got to do the productivity to get there as well. Okay, so lows, come on. We all know, I mean, I've been there when it might even just be annoying. I mean, I know I've had lows in that, like, you get someone to like a final stage and they'll just suddenly drop out with no explanation. You're like, where is this person gone?
Yes, yeah.
It's literally like dating, being ghosted.
Pretty much.
Rude.
Yeah.
So talk us through the lows of recruitment.
Yeah, so I suppose there's been a few tears here and there. But no, I think, you know, when, and this is probably quite relatable, when things don't go to plan. When I say plan, like what you were just saying there, but more on, I'd say, a client side, for example. Say, like, you know, you've got your targets to meet and that role gets pulled at the final hurdle.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst thing because then that has a knock-on effect on you.
Yeah. It's probably more frustrating as well. You've done all that work.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot. So yeah, I've been in that position a couple of times, which wasn't great. And then that kind of, I think you do have to be a certain sort of person in recruitment. You've got to be quite level-headed. Because it's easy to just, like, you know, have a cry and be like, oh, you know, get really demotivated by it. But I think lows always kind of they teach you a lot. So like now I'm very more like, if I get like bad news, I'm just like, it just goes over my head now.
Just is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm the same. I think, I mean, look, it can't always go the way you want it to go. And if something goes wrong, it's a case of having that half an hour of having a bit of a sulk and being like, this is really annoying.
Yeah.
But then jumping straight back on it. So how do you overcome those lows then? Is it I'm guessing a mindset thing? So like you were just saying in recruitment, you've got to have what kind of mindset is that? What kind of attributes and attitude do you think you need to be a good recruiter?
I think, and probably there'll be a lot of recruiters out there that will hate me for this comment, but I think for me what I have to do is, if I get some bad news, instead of like I'll switch off at 5:30. I will.
Yeah.
Like, unless I've got like, unless there's things going on, I'll switch off. I'll go recoup for the evening, do something that makes me feel good, and I'll come back at like fresh again the next day, ready to go.
Again. Yeah.
That's how I do it.
What if that low comes at like 10 a.m?
That low comes at 10 a.m. The things I would like to do through the day, I can't do. If it comes at 10 a.m, usually it's quite good. Like I'll have a chat with a friend in the office.
Have a little moan.
Have a little moan. Kind of probably step out of the office on my lunch break for the actual hour.
Yeah.
And like have a bit of me time. But that's all you can do really. And we're very lucky at Orbition to have, such a friendly culture that we can just big each other up when something goes bad. And it's, we can kind of make light of the situation. Yeah. So that's probably how I would handle it. Whereas like probably a year ago, I'd be sat in the boardroom with my boss like, oh, I can't do this.
I don't want to do recruitment anymore.
I don't want to do it.
It is. I feel like you've got to be quite resilient, haven't you, in recruitment. And I think it's one of them where, it's well like when something does go wrong, I think it's so important to look within yourself and think, right, was there genuinely something, did I actually slip up somewhere? Like, could I have done something better? Because I remember in past roles, like when I was just doing pure delivery, I was quite junior. And it'd be a case of, well, did you do the interview prep? Did you debrief? Did you trial the offer before even doing the offer? Were you confident that they would actually accept? Because I've learned a lot actually by doing just a trial close. If they're going to say no, or if they're umming and ahhing, you can then go straight back to the client and be like, look, this is what they're umming and ahhing about. I've not actually put the offer out there, but what can we do if you think, like if you've got that little inkling that something's not going to go right, solve it before we get there.
And you do get it.
Yeah.
You do get it.
You feel it, don't you?
It's weird. It's really odd.
You just know,
But you know.
No, absolutely. So what's kept you in recruitment? It's such a roller coaster. I feel like we're still quite young, but probably feel quite old because it is a really stressful environment. It really is. So what keeps you here? Well, not necessarily Orbition, obviously we want to keep you here, but what keeps you wanting to do recruitment?
I think it is like a way of like how I live my life nowadays. So like a lot's changed. You know what? Mainly on the financial aspects of things. Yeah. And money isn't everything at the end of the day, but what I've been able to do in the last 2 years, like I probably wouldn't have been able to do a couple of years ago. Yeah. So like that element has me staying, and like I think especially with this company, very, very settled. Like I'm very big on, and I've always said this, whichever job I go into, I'm very big on culture. And if culture isn't right for me, I'm out. Yeah. Like more than anything. Even if I like the job, if I can't work with the people around me, I'm out. Yeah. So I think that keeps me here a lot. Yeah. Which is nice. So yeah, I think, and to be fair, the people that we speak to kind of in the data and analytics world, they're actually really interesting. Now, like a few years ago, I wouldn't have thought I'd be sat here like talking to, all these people in data, understanding all these different terms, and it's actually really interesting. And it's just great to form those relationships with them all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the future as well, isn't it? As well,
exactly.
It's so big.
Exactly.
No, okay. So you've talked there about the culture.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier that you were the 5th person into Orbition.
I think so, 5th or 6th.
So Orbition is quite small.
Yeah.
People have this idea that a small company is a risk.
Yeah.
I get it, but any company is a risk. You risk any role by moving. Any move in your career is always going to be a risk.
Yeah.
So what is it, do you think, about a small company versus a corporate recruitment company that has worked for you?
Yeah, before Orbition, I'd never worked for a startup. Never. I didn't even think.
I'd be the same.
Yeah, I didn't even think about working for a startup. It's not even crossed my mind. And I don't think people need to stress about it as much as they probably should. I think for me, it was the right move because I got to walk into a business that was young, so I could see it grow, see it develop, I could change with it.
Yeah.
I know what my ambitions are, and it's easier to do that in a younger business. You get that training and development so much quickly, much quicker even, than you would in, a more corporate organisation. And yeah, I think that's probably it really on that part.
Do you know what it is for me as well with a smaller business? I feel like our candidates and clients feel more connected to us.
Oh yeah.
Because they're not ringing up a business that's got 150 people in there trying to get through to you. You already have that kind of one-on-one with them because there's not that many people for them to speak to. And it's always I feel like that's a really big element as well. Obviously we're going to grow. I'm not saying that we're going to be a 10 people business forever. We are going to grow, but I feel like the way that Orbition work with the community, it gives that more customer focused kind of relationship, would you say?
Definitely. And yeah, of course we're going to grow, but I think we're doing it in the right way. Yeah. And I think people have to be really on board who join Orbition with, our kind of approach that we have.
Point. Yeah. How did you find that then? Because it's
yeah.
Me and Kyle talk about this quite a lot. It's a different approach. So and I spoke to Kyle about this, how did you find that new approach? I know you only did 3 months in your first one, but how was that shift? What were the differences in that shift?
Yeah, so it was more kind of probably the content side of things that we do. We do a lot on LinkedIn. A lot of people know us from, LinkedIn and, us posting, and it's our driven by data community. So we have the mentorship, we have our events, our roundtables, we're starting to do the personal branding courses. We do so much more than just placing someone in a job. Yeah. And it's I had a conversation with someone the other week that I placed, and we just got chatting just about Orbition because he hadn't heard of us before, and we got talking about the community side of things, and you can have that conversation with your candidates and with those potential clients as well and get them on board. So there's always, regardless of whether there's a job there's always something that we can speak to them about and something that we're offering and what they can benefit from. Yeah. So I think that's something that's really unique and exciting. Yeah,
I was watching a post today actually on how recruiters to do well now need to scale up so much. You can't just be someone at the end of a phone anymore. There's so much more to it. I mean, there's always been networking events, but I feel like really like it's great that now recruitment companies do events like that, real one-on-one with your candidates and clients. It's not just a big corporate event that loads of businesses go to and you're trying to win business at the events. Like, I remember that is what an event used to be. You used to go to the event with loads of clients to try and win business, and people would instantly be like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a recruiter, and they would hate it.
Yeah.
They've gone to the event to socialise with peers, and then they'd just be like recruiters just dashing in there, whereas I feel like it's nicer to build that sense of community and know that they're coming to an event to learn and gain, and we're not trying to intrude that.
No, it makes sense. It's like I spoke to someone the other week and he was like, he got in touch with me, but he said to me on the call, he was like, I wouldn't usually speak to a recruiter because I've got really mixed feelings about recruiters. And I said, well, why did you want to speak to me? I knew what kind of the topic was, but I was like, what made you want to speak? He was like, well, I was speaking to someone that's involved in your community. Yeah. And she told me about Orbition group, so I thought, why not, pretty much. So it's just like, you know what, it's getting the word out there. Yeah. And 100%. We're obviously doing something right. Yeah. Which is really good.
So if you were to give someone some advice, so we're kind of coming to the end of this episode now, but if you were to give someone advice about wanting to get into recruitment or even wanting to work for Orbition, what advice would you give them of how to work, best approach, top recruiter?
Yeah, well, I probably start off with, you know, if you're looking to get into recruitment, I'd probably say, you know, do your research, slow down at the beginning, look at different organisations, just don't go to, you know, the one place that's going to offer you some great perks and a great commission structure, and then you're probably going to get lied to, potentially. So yeah, definitely do your research. I think once you've joined, you know, you've joined that place, I'd say don't be scared to ask questions, because I know I didn't do that at the beginning. I didn't really speak up. Yeah. And like get that advice on what you should say. 9 times out of 10, your manager's probably going to be like, go for it. Yeah. There might be that odd time that, like, you know, you're just going to sound like every other recruiter out there, but always try something a little bit different. And I think as well, I think if you're somewhere where you don't feel like you either fit in, or, you know, the people around you, you're just not vibing with. Yeah. I'd leave straight away. This is my advice, because I think you work better around people that, you know. 100%.
I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Being in the right environment with things.
Definitely, and you want people that are going to support you. Yeah. And finally, I'd probably say the lows, don't let them get to you. That it's probably the hardest thing ever.
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally. It's just business. And in a year's time, you will look back and think, I'm so happy that I went through those lows, made those mistakes. This happened because I got to learn, I got to develop myself. Yeah. And now I'm achieving so much more. Yeah. So,
yeah. I think in one of my old recruitment companies, they actually used to say, a mistake is not a bad thing because you're only going to learn from it.
Oh, 100%.
So,
But you think it's the end of the world, and it's not.
Yeah, at the time, you think, oh, that money I've just lost. But there's going to be other opportunities to do a deal like that. Yeah, 100%. Okay, last really important question then. So obviously we established that I'm not a coffee maker.
Yeah, we have.
Go on, rate. Oh, I don't know if I want this rating, but rate me out of 10 for this coffee.
You know what? I'd give it a 7.
That's all right, you know.
That is all right for someone that doesn't make coffee.
What do I need to do for a 10?
To be honest, I probably could have done with it maybe a little less milkier.
Okay, sorry, my hand slipped.
That's okay. It's okay, we can work on it. Yeah, I think it was probably the coffee we've got in the office as well.
All right, yeah, let's just blame that. Perfect, done. Kyle, get better coffee.
Get better coffee.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thanks for joining me on Recruit Tea. If you don't already, please do subscribe and leave us a review. And please do join us next time on Recruit Tea for some more gossip. See you soon.